Guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back with another couple of horror stories. These are 3 terrifying horror stories to keep you up at night. This is from Twisted Tales, so full credit to him. Go over and give him some love, and let's get into it. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content, and let me know what kind of stories you've liked so far from what you've heard over Halloween, and we'll have a chat in the channel. How about that in the comments? Let's go.
Been building for weeks, and finally the night had come. Halloween in New York City. The annual Halloween parade was renowned for its extravagance, a colossal event where creativity and spookiness collided in a glorious procession down 6th Avenue. Friends and I gathered, each with our own imaginative costumes, ready to immerse ourselves in the Halloween revelry. We arrived at the parade route early, wanting to secure a good spot to witness the spectacle. The streets were already buzzing with the energy of the city, and the anticipation was palpable. As the sun dipped below the skyline, the city was transformed into a surreal dreamscape of lights and shadows. The parade commenced with a stunning display of costumes.
Some of them costumes are cool.
To downright eerie. Ghouls, witches, superheroes, and even an assortment of otherworldly creatures filled the streets. The crowd cheered and clapped as the performers strutted their stuff, their hard work and creativity on full display. My friends and I reveled in the sights and sounds, taking photos and joining the chorus of admiration. The atmosphere was electric, and we were all swept up in the magic of the night. As the parade continued, the costumes grew more elaborate and the performances more mesmerizing. Stilt walkers, fire dancers, and marching bands contributed to the grand spectacle. It was a Halloween celebration like no other, a sensory overload of lights, music, and creativity. But as the parade progressed, a strange unease began to creep in. Amid the colorful and eccentric costumes, I noticed a recurring figure, a man dressed as a sinister clown. He stood out, not for his garish makeup or extravagant costume, but for the malevolent aura that seemed to surround him. I couldn't shake the feeling that the clown was watching me, his eyes hidden behind oversized, bloodshot glasses. His sinister grin never wavered as he weaved his way through the crowd, a stark contrast to the joy and revelry that surrounded us. I leaned in and whispered to my friends, expressing my unease about the clown. They tried to dismiss it as a harmless prankster, a performer who had taken his role a bit too seriously. But something about him sent shivers down my spine. The parade continued, and my friends and I decided to stay together, keeping an eye on the clown from a distance. As we moved along the route, the atmosphere darkened, and the crowd began to thin. The parade was winding down, and we considered heading to a nearby bar to continue the festivities. That's when things took a chilling turn. The clown, seemingly aware of our vigilance, began to approach us. He moved with an eerie grace, his painted smile never fading. He beckoned to us with long, bony fingers, and my heart raced with dread. We backed away, our unease deepening. The clown's pursuit grew relentless, and he began to follow us down a dimly lit side street, away from the main parade route. Panic set in as we realized we were alone with this sinister figure. My friends and I made a snap decision to split up, hoping to confuse the clown and escape his clutches. We darted into different alleys and side streets, praying to lose him. I could hear his heavy footsteps and manic laughter echoing through the narrow passages as he chased us.
That's creepy.
As I sprinted through the unfamiliar, dimly lit streets, I could feel the city closing in around me. The towering buildings cast long, menacing shadows, and the distant sounds of revelry from the parade seemed like a world away. I finally ducked into a secluded courtyard, hidden from view. My breaths came in ragged gasps, and I strained to listen for any sign of the clown. The city was eerily quiet, the distant parade sounds now a haunting whisper in the darkness. That's when I heard it. A soft, malevolent chuckle, like a sinister melody in the night. The clown had found me. He emerged from the shadows, his oversized glasses gleaming in the dim light. I couldn't escape. His hands reached for me and I screamed, the sound lost in the eerie silence of the courtyard. I stumbled backward, and my hand found a discarded brick. I gripped it and swung with all my might, connecting with the clown's head. The clown staggered back, his painted smile now a grotesque grimace of pain. I didn't wait to see the outcome. I turned and ran, sprinting through the winding streets of the city, my heart pounding with fear. I eventually found my way back to the main parade route, where the revelry continued as if...
I wonder if this was in 2016 or at some point near with that whole big phase with crazed clowns and stuff like that. Went mad for a while.
Nothing had happened. The sinister clown was nowhere to be found. My friends and I reunited, shaken but safe, and we decided to leave the parade behind. The Halloween night had taken a nightmarish turn, an encounter with a sinister clown that defied all reason and logic. The memory of that eerie figure haunted my thoughts as we left the parade behind and made our way back through the city's chaotic streets. As we hailed a taxi and left the scene, the specter of the sinister clown remained, a chilling reminder that Halloween in New York City could be a night of unexpected terrors, where the line between fun and fright blurred, and the city itself became a sinister playground for the macabre. As newlyweds, my husband and I had been eagerly anticipating the moment when we could move into our dream home, a picturesque centuries-old house nestled on the outskirts of a charming, historic town. With Halloween as our moving-in day, it seemed like a quirky and memorable way to celebrate our new life together. The day dawned with bright sunshine and excitement as we began the laborious process of settling into our new abode. The house had character in abundance, its creaking wooden floors, ancient stone walls, and arched doorways telling stories of bygone eras. We couldn't have been more thrilled with our new home. As the sun dipped below the horizon, we lit candles in the various rooms, the flickering flames casting long, eerie shadows on the walls. We unpacked our belongings, sharing stories and laughter as we filled the house with the warmth of our love. As the hours passed, the house seemed to take on a different personality. The creaks and groans of the ancient structure grew more pronounced, as if the very walls were settling into their nighttime routine. My husband, ever the pragmatist, assured me it was merely the house's character. With Halloween night approaching, we decided to embrace the spirit of the holiday. We carved pumpkins and set them out on the front porch, their grinning faces illuminated by the flickering candles within. Our excitement grew as the sky darkened, and we prepared for the night's festivities. The evening air was chilly, and the quaint town came to life with the laughter of trick-or-treaters. We eagerly awaited their visits, ready to greet the costumed children with bowls of candy. But as the first child rang our doorbell, something strange happened. The moment I opened the door, a cold wind swept through the house, extinguishing all the candles.
Okay.
I shivered, and my husband dismissed it as a coincidence.
Yeah, it's
We relit the candles and continued handing out candy to the eager children. However, as the night deepened, a sense of unease settled over us. The house felt different, the atmosphere heavy and oppressive. I could feel a sense of watching, as though unseen eyes followed our every move. We decided to retreat to the warmth of our bedroom, dismissing our growing apprehension as mere nerves. As we lay in bed, we heard faint whispers, like distant voices carried on the wind. I peered out the window but saw no one in the darkness. My husband suggested that it might be our imaginations, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. I tried to fall asleep, but the whispers continued, growing louder and more insistent. I got out of bed and followed the sound to the hallway. As I reached the top of the stairs, I saw a faint flickering light. The candles we had lit earlier were now scattered on the floor, their flames extinguished. I heard footsteps, light and rapid, echoing through the darkened house. I called out for my husband, my voice trembling with fear. He rushed to my side and we descended the stairs together. The house was in chaos. Furniture had been overturned, and the candles that remained unharmed cast eerie, dancing shadows on the walls. We realized that this was not a mere coincidence or the work of a playful poltergeist. It was something more sinister, a presence that had invaded our home on Halloween night. We attempted to leave the house, but the front door was jammed shut. We couldn't open it, no matter how hard we tried. Panic set in as we felt the presence drawing closer, its malevolence tangible in the cold, heavy air. As we ventured deeper into the house, the whispers grew louder and the shadows more menacing. The flickering candles seemed to draw us toward the darkest corner of the living room. There, we found an old, tattered book bound in leather, its pages filled with strange symbols and ominous illustrations. My husband opened the book, and the moment he did, the room was filled with a chilling gust of wind. The book's pages turned on their own, and the symbols seemed to writhe and come to life. We heard disembodied voices, as if trapped souls were crying out in anguish. In the midst of the chaos, a figure materialized before us, a shadowy, ethereal figure cloaked in darkness. It reached out to us, its cold fingers grazing our skin. We screamed and rushed to the door once more, but this time it swung open with ease. We fled into the night, leaving our dream home behind, and as we stepped out into the chilly Halloween air, the presence seemed to recede, its malevolent power vanishing with the distance between us. Our dream home was now a place of haunting and terror, a place we could never return to. The whispers and shadows would forever be etched in our memories, a chilling reminder of the Halloween night when our dream home became a nightmare. As we sought refuge with friends and family, we couldn't help but wonder about the history of that house and the darkness that had taken hold of it. It was a Halloween we would never forget, a night when the spirits of the past had risen to claim our home, and we had no choice but to escape their chilling grasp.
I wonder then if that was, I'm not sure if that was a true story or a made up one. If it was true, I know there's been a lot of incidents where homes and have been left abandoned because of went away for whatever one reason or another. You'd hate to think that that would be a reason, that's because of an entity or a poltergeist or something. But think of the money, even the money aspect of putting into a house and trying to get a new place together, only for something like that to kind of disrupt your whole life. Doesn't bear thinking about it, I suppose.
Halloween night had been a whirlwind of ghoulish fun, but now as I walked home through the dark and quiet streets, the spooky atmosphere began to play tricks on my imagination. The moon cast eerie shadows, and the rustling leaves seemed to whisper secrets in the chilly breeze. My heart raced with anticipation as I approached the intersection that would lead me onto the familiar path home. It was the quickest way, and in the chill of the night, I was eager to get home to the warmth of my cozy bed. As I walked, I couldn't help but feel the weight of the night's festivities. The costumes, the laughter, and the spectral decorations still danced in my mind. But the excitement of Halloween had now given way to a growing unease, a feeling that I was not alone on the dimly lit streets. I quickened my pace, my footsteps echoing loudly in the silent night. The lampposts cast pools of light and shadow on the sidewalk, and with each step, I could hear the soft, persistent sound of footsteps behind me. At first, I brushed it off as a trick of my imagination, but the feeling of being followed grew stronger with every passing second. I glanced over my shoulder but saw nothing but empty streets. A shiver ran down my spine and I pulled my jacket tighter around me. I continued walking, trying to shake off the unease that had settled over me. The footsteps persisted, and I realized they were growing closer. The presence behind me was unmistakable. I quickened my pace, hoping to reach the safety of my well-lit street, where I could easily spot anyone following me. Yeah. My heart raced, and my breath came in ragged gasps. I finally reached the comforting glow of my street's lampposts and turned around, expecting to catch a glimpse of my mysterious pursuer. But to my astonishment, there was no one there. The street was empty, and the chilly breeze seemed to mock my paranoia. I shook my head and let out a nervous laugh, chiding myself for allowing my imagination to run wild. I resumed my walk, convinced that I had been spooked by shadows and echoes. As I continued down the quiet street, I couldn't help but feel a lingering sense of dread. The night seemed to have grown colder, and the houses on the street felt like silent sentinels, their darkened windows watching my every move. And then, just as I was about to dismiss my unease once more, I heard it, a faint, haunting melody carried by the wind. It was a tune I couldn't quite place, a soft, mournful melody that seemed to whisper of sorrow and longing. The music grew louder, its source impossible to pinpoint. It surrounded me, enveloping me in an eerie embrace. It was as if the very air was filled with the ghostly tune, and I couldn't escape its grasp. I began to run, the music chasing after me like a relentless specter. I turned onto another street, desperate to escape the haunting melody that seemed to be closing in on me. The houses were now a blur as I sprinted through the silent night. But no matter how fast I ran, the music was always just behind me, its mournful notes echoing in my ears.
That was weird.
I couldn't escape it, and it felt as though the very night was conspiring to keep me within its chilling grasp. As I turned onto another street, I stumbled and fell to the ground.
If this was you, what would you be thinking at this point? Would you be trying to, if this was your neighborhood, I suppose, would you just try to get home? Or go to a house somewhere, a neighboring house, see if anyone was there, answer the door? I don't know. I suppose at this point, you're probably thinking your paranoia is literally getting away with you.
My breath ragged and my heart pounding. The music had grown deafening, its melancholy melody echoing through my very soul. I glanced around, searching for the source of the haunting tune, and that's when I saw him, a figure standing in the shadows, just beyond the reach of the lamplight. He was dressed in tattered, ghostly rags, and his face was concealed beneath a hood. The hooded figure stood perfectly still, his outstretched hand holding a small, ornate music box. The mournful melody poured forth from it, its haunting notes filling the night. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the figure, his presence filling me with a profound sense of dread. I wanted to run, to scream, but I was paralyzed by fear. The figure began to move toward me, his bony hand outstretched. The music box played on, its melody now a chilling dirge that seemed to seep into my very bones. I stumbled to my feet and fled, running as if my life depended on it. The haunting melody pursued me, its mournful notes filling the night. I didn't dare look back, fearing what I might see if I did. I finally reached my front door and fumbled for my keys. The music had grown faint, but it lingered in the air, its ghostly presence refusing to release me. I stumbled inside, my heart still pounding. I locked the door and peered out the window, half expecting to see the hooded figure standing in the darkness. But the street was empty, and the night had returned to an eerie stillness. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had encountered something otherworldly that Halloween night.
It's really weird.
Something that had left an indelible mark on my soul. The haunting melody continued to echo in my mind, a reminder of the spectral encounter that had filled me with terror and left me with a chilling question. Who was the mysterious stalker, and what did he want from me on that Halloween night?
Yeah, it's really weird. To think that something like that would have, but there you are. So that was from Twisted Tales. So say from him and everyone who's given the stories to narrate. Go over and give him some love. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. So take care, guys.